I am thrilled to be here today with you two to talk about Sparrow Plein Air Festival. My name is Beth Bluestein. I'm owner of Sparrow Art Supply, and I'm here with Kathryn Torres of the Better Middlebury Partnership and local artist Kati Christoffel. So I think to start, well, firstly, I just want to thank Town Meeting TV for welcoming us here today. This is really fun that we can be here, chat about our upcoming event, and yeah, I'm just so thankful that we're here today for this. So I guess we could go ahead and introduce ourselves. As I said, my name is Beth Bluestein. I own Sparrow Art Supply in Middlebury, Vermont. And I'm the organizer of Sparrow Plein Air Festival. Kathryn, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you. Kathryn Torres from the Better Middlebury Partnership. I'm one of the co-directors. So we're part of one of the downtown coalition towns in Vermont. There are 24, and Middlebury happens to be one of them. So it's very nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Kati?
Yeah, I'm Kati Christoffel. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a watercolor painter based in Burlington, but I love to paint all over the state, and plein air painting is my favorite way to paint. So I'm very excited to participate in the Sparrow Plein Air Festival again this year.
Wonderful. I guess I'll start with talking about what is Sparrow Plein Air Festival. So it is a 3-day creative event held in Middlebury, Vermont. This is our second annual time hosting this. So essentially, for one weekend, our town becomes an open air studio. Artists set up their easels in town at designated painting sites and paint the surroundings in real time. As I said, our town welcomes many artists to come for it, and it's a town-wide event. Let's see. It's a 3-day event, so it's jam-packed with fun activities. So Friday starts with a couple of workshops and a kickoff celebration event at Swift House Inn, and then Saturday and Sunday is kind of a choose-your-own-adventure experience of painting, including demos by our plein air ambassadors, including Kati over here, and we have a couple social events as well where we're giving away treats, prizes. And then to top it all off, the weekend will culminate in a wet paint sale and exhibit at our store. So I'm excited for that.
So Beth, I just want to say that I was so inspired last year when you came to us about this idea. And as a town that really does focus on arts and creativity in a town that has a lot of creative people within it, it was almost like the sugar coating of launching the summer season for us. You know, we have events that happen in May, and we have quite a lot of events in July and August and September and October and into December. But June felt really ripe for something special. So, you really did bring some magic last year to Middlebury, and the fact that it was, I thought it would be small and sweet, and actually it was so efficient, so effectively done. It was so vibrant. The weather was glorious. So we're really excited that you're expanding on this idea and running with it.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that, Kathryn. That's really nice to hear, and it reminded me that something that really makes this festival special is there's a few things. Firstly, that it's a community-wide event. It's not just for the artists. Sure, yes, the artists get this fully curated experience, but we also are involving over 24 local and even farther afield partners to bring this event to life. So a lot of downtown businesses. We also have some art industry sponsors for our prizes, and then it's it's also open. You don't have to be an artist to come enjoy it. It's open for people to come into town, talk to the artists, see what they're working on, watch their demonstrations, and really see the process up close of how people are experiencing our town. And then on top of that, the festival isn't just for professional artists. Exactly, right? So actually both Kathryn and Kati participated last year. You don't have to be a professional artist to enjoy it, which really speaks speaks to, you know, the mission of my store is that creativity is for everyone. And I think that kind of led to a natural progression to launch this festival, that creativity is for everyone and the outdoors are for everyone to enjoy. So, you know, and I think, yeah, just bringing together the artists, other local businesses, and yeah, the greater community together is something really special at this time of year.
Completely. And at a time of year when we've all been cooped up inside, to be able to combine a love of art and colour and nature is super special. I didn't know much about en plein air art until my daughter, actually, her husband's mother is an en plein air artist, but I only learned of that 2 or 3 years ago. So I didn't really know much about the medium. I'm really interested to know, because it seems like that's something you're really interested in.
It is, yeah. So plein air painting just means painting outside.
Right.
You know, it sounds very fancy, but it's really simple. You just take your art supplies and you go find a beautiful place to paint. Just like all of Middlebury, that was something that I found really special for me last year, was getting to explore the town and find new beautiful pockets of places to paint. I spent a lot of time in the park looking at the, you know, the bridge and the waterfall. And then I also spent some time at the museum painting like the fish. And
The fish sculpture.
The fish sculpture,
That
yes.
appeared in a lot of paintings last year.
Yeah.
That was so much fun to paint. But just being able to be outside for my own art practice, I find is really kind of freeing. I find when I'm painting inside, I get kind of bogged down in the details a little bit more, whereas when I'm outside, you know, there's the weather, there's the changing light, there's bugs biting me, I get hungry. There's a lot of things that are kind of competing for my attention, so I find that my art tends to be a little bit more free and interesting, and I'm not so, you know, picky about each little thing. I can just kind of be like, oh, let's see what would happen if I used pink here. Oh, that's cool, I like it. Or like, oh, I didn't like that, let's try something else next time. But I feel like there's a lot of creativity and expression and play that can happen when you're painting outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that, Katie. And that's something that, yeah, I feel the same way about when I paint outdoors. I don't set out to make a good painting. That's not what plein air painting is about. It is about, you know, feeling the wind on your face, smelling the river, you know, hearing the birds and the bugs chirping, and yeah, whatever, you know, is the result is, you know, kind of the impression that you get from your surroundings.
Yeah.
And something else I enjoy about it too is that because there's so much going on, like you insinuated, like bug biting and stuff, you know, you kind of can't think about anything else. So for me, it gives me this kind of mental clarity and break from my, you know, the rest of my life going on that I don't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
I found that actually, Beth, it's interesting because on the first day, you know, I volunteered and I bombed around and I felt really inspired looking at everybody. And whenever I see an artist, I always think they're so much better than me and I couldn't name myself as an artist. I mean, you were very sweet earlier saying to me, no, everyone's an artist, you paint, you.
If you make art, you're an artist.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that attitude. And the following day I did participate. And to your point, Beth, there was something so mindful about it. I got over that anxiety of, oh, I'm not an artist. What am I doing? What am I trying to prove? And I spent some time with Beth earlier on, and she helped me, you know, find my little en plein air kit. And she showed me all about the little paintbrush, and I realized, oh, this is really easy to do something like this, the little portable paintbrush. And I just to be able to experiment with it and feel, oh, other people would be looking at me thinking maybe I am an artist. You know, it felt it was a very immersive experience. And for me to sit in a town that I know so well at this stage, I know every single little nook and cranny, but to be able to sit in a spot for probably 2 or 3 hours, actually, focused on one beautiful building. It was really mindful, very meditative, very therapeutic, actually. You know, after a busy week, to be able to just sit and take that time out in doing something I don't normally do. Actually, it was really lovely.
Yeah, totally. Well, Kathryn, you touched on that you volunteered for us last year. You actually have done so much more for us than just volunteering the day of. You know, the Better Middlebury Partnership has been a critical partner with us for this festival the first year and this year. And I'm so grateful that you and Kelly have been so supportive of what we're trying to do and connecting us with other partners in the community to really enrich this experience for the artists and for our, for the town. Can you talk a little bit, about what you and Kelly do and how this kind of can really, really enliven our town?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've got the best job remit in the world. It's to ensure that Middlebury is a wonderful place to live, work, and play. And it was pretty much a blank canvas. Excuse the pun, talking about this, but. It is a creative town, and it's a town that's got the most amazing town hall theatre. It's got the most beautiful library that's just about to open. It has such talented people. It has the college up on the hill, and I think we were very inspired. First of all, inspired by you, Beth, without me making you blush, because you've just made me blush. We've always been just so thrilled that you're on Main Street. Main Street is really the artery, the main heartbeat of our town, and that you have such a beautiful, attractive store and a busy store and a store that's really meaningful to people. Already there was that relationship with what you bring to Middlebury. So when you came with your very young energy and your can-do attitude and admiring somebody who, if they say they're going to do something, they do it, and you were unafraid, and you're very bold with it, and it was we recognized something in you, and we sensed that this was going to be really a special thing, and I think when you started, you had said you had this really beautiful ambition of maybe if I can get 25 artists together, and the fact that you ended up, I think, having nearly 100 artists, Beth, in your first year, and knowing what it is to pilot something or to pull an event together, and the effort and the hard work that comes with it. We knew that we wanted to help you in some way. And if we do one thing well, it's probably talk to everybody and market and connect people. So we're almost like a social web of care almost. So we were very inspired by the idea. And from a selfish point of view, I wanted to take part in something as cool as that as well. So that was the initial motivation. And I think we were all surprised at how quickly it grew into something unbelievably special. So when the first one was over and we persuaded, please, Beth, do it again, don't make it a one-off. We, of course, wanted to be, one of your partners in it. So that was the motivation. You really bring beauty and engagement and community and joy to an already lovely town. But it just took on a certain a very special feel that weekend. Yeah, it was lovely. I'm excited about next month.
Yeah, totally. Well, thanks for sharing all that. Yes, I am very much blushing right now. You are like, if you know Kathryn, she can be your biggest cheerleader. She is, amazing. Anyway, thank you for sharing all that and why it has been special to both you and Kelly to help support. Can you talk a little bit about what it could bring, what it brings to our town,
yes.
and and the businesses in our town.
Absolutely.
How this affects them and our community directly.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you bring 100 artists plus their families, plus, people drive past and all of a sudden there are 15 or 16 different sites where artists are. Even if you're just driving through on the way to somewhere, you're going to stop, first of all. We really pride ourselves on having a very burgeoning Main Street, having lots of very special independent stores. We have chains in Middlebury, but they're not necessarily in Main Street. And that idea that all boats rise together. So if Beth is bringing in people somebody has to, people have to eat, people have to have something to drink. People might pop into the Edgewater Gallery and have a little look at what's going on there. People will go down, they need to go and buy a birthday card. So that whole idea of, and staying at the inns, there will be, I know there were people who came in and stayed at Airbnbs, and they stayed at the Swift House, and they stayed at the Middlebury Inn. So it's very good for local industry, local business. And that's a primary aim of our organisation, is to make sure that everybody is thriving. And as an offshoot of what you've done, Beth, to me is you've drawn people together. I mean, we do our, every 2 months, our business meetings, which have been really popular. We probably have 230 vendors, retailers in Middlebury, and probably 100 that are very, very engaged. And out of that, we probably get 30 people at our business meetings on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock. But what I've noticed is how you've all built relationships between one another despite us. And that is really, it feels very sustaining. The fact that you sit on Main Street and you have a beautiful relationship with the Cookie Love guys next door, the Shire Town, the Little Seed people, so that feeling that if one person's doing well, everybody's going to do well. And it's a feel-good thing. It feels like Middlebury thrives rather than just survives. And I think over COVID and with the bridge build and all the building works that was going on, Middlebury needed a fresh injection. And I think post-COVID, you really helped bring a different energy. And I know that the whole of Middlebury has really appreciated, particularly Main Street and Marble Works and so on. It's been very noted. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, Kathryn, I think you might be the person who loves our town the most. I never thought I'd meet someone who loved Middlebury possibly more than I do, but that is part of, this is part of why we're doing this festival, right? Is to showcase the local businesses that are there, the beautiful scenery, and the amazing people that make it what it is, right? And so when I started thinking about the idea for this festival, that was entirely integrated into it. So, great. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let's maybe move on to talk a little bit about the artist experience. So, just an overview what artists can expect. I talked a little bit about the structure of the weekend. We have workshops going on, demonstrations, different social gatherings. It's really about creative camaraderie. Anyone can go out into the outdoors and paint by themselves. I do it often. You do it often.
Yes.
But there's something really special about doing it alongside other artists, right? Art making can be it is a solitary activity, right? But it can become lonely. So I think this is a fun opportunity for artists to get out of their studio and come meet some other people. And part of it too is we have put together a list of curated painting sites. So we've partnered with the town, private property owners to really give a diverse set of painting sites. So we'll have quiet gardens, expansive vistas, we'll have historic architecture, some really dynamic spots. Kati, I would love if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about what you're most excited for this year coming back to the festival.
Sure. One of my favorite things last year was just having an entire weekend where all I have to do is paint. Because, being a person with a job and life and everything, there's not always, it's hard to sometimes find that time to really sit down and just focus in on art. But you gave me the opportunity, Beth, to be like, okay, my job this weekend is just finding a pretty spot and just painting and connecting with the other artists around me. Kathryn, when we were talking about the community and how much of a community builder, Beth's store is and this event, I was thinking that too, that art can be a very solitary thing and sometimes lonely, mostly not lonely, mostly, nice to be alone in my head painting. But it was so much fun last year to just, even if I wasn't talking to anyone, to just look around and be like, wow, there's 15 or 20 people here at Marble Works with me. We're all painting the same thing. And to get up and walk around and see what they were doing and have people come do the same thing and look over my shoulder, I think that was really special because that's another fun thing about making art in community is even if we're all painting the same thing, looking at the same thing, we're all here for the same reason. Everyone's painting is going to turn out a little bit or a lot differently depending on your experience and how you like to paint, what materials you use. So yeah, those were some of my favorite things, just having the time to sit and paint and focus and also get to meet other people doing the same thing.
Absolutely, right. We all live very busy lives, so I'm sure you find it too. It's hard sometimes to fit art making in alongside all your other responsibilities. So to have a designated chance to do that, I mean, I'm so glad you had that.
Yes.
So yeah, that's great.
Thank you for providing that. I mean, when the festival finished last year, I was exhausted, but I was like, I can't wait for next year. I hope you do it again next year.
There was a real sense of pride, actually, Beth. Sorry, you know, I do love the town of Middlebury, and do you mind if I just have a little of your
Yes,
water?
help yourself.
Sorry, I'm battling a little bit of a cough. But I love Middlebury, and for Beth to have found some very special spots that are kind of hidden, and the fact that to see artists look at the town in a very different way. I mean, I ended up sitting on a sort of quite unloved little area, or kind of quite uncared for until last year, outside the town offices. It's quite a new building, and it's got a little bit of a plaza. There's a little soft planting, a few little Adirondack chairs, but nothing special. And then to be able to look across at the roundabout that's got all sorts of posts and so, but see this beautiful folk life building that is, you know, probably late 18th century, early, and really sit and study it. So you were very good about finding hidden little spots as well as very obvious spots, you know. The falls and that
iconic.
and the iconic, absolutely gorgeous. And you found those, you know, what I find special little spots that can be a little forgotten and a little hidden. I think you did a really good job of that as well. Did you paint anywhere else?
I did. I painted at the falls, and then I moved over and painted in that garden with the fish sculpture.
Henry Sheldon.
Oh yeah, Henry Sheldon.
Yes.
Yes.
That was very fun.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday afternoon, I went out to the farm.
Yes.
And
the
I
knoll.
was the knoll. Yes. I was
wonderful.
up on
Such
the
a
knoll,
beautiful
and
vista.
Yeah.
and that was great because I tend to be a landscape painter, and I like painting, you know, mountains. I like to go hiking and sit on top of Mount Mansfield or, you know, on a lake somewhere and paint kind of a landscape that doesn't have a lot of human structure or interaction with it. And so I was able to challenge myself in Middlebury to paint buildings. Like, I don't do a lot of buildings. I don't like straight lines. But I thought that was really fun to be like, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to stretch some different muscles and try something a little bit different. And so that was
I take it at
great.
the knoll you sat facing west looking over the Adirondacks.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
So no buildings. You didn't sit and look back over.
That was my
Middlebury.
treat at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, lovely.
I'd painted a lot of buildings, so it's time to just go paint some trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Katie, can you talk with us a little bit about, like, what is your setup? Because I mean, I just heard you say you hike to the top of Mount Mansfield and paint up there, so that must mean you have to be really compact about what you bring.
Yes, I tend to be. So this is the kit that I bring with me. It's just a little bag, and inside, let's see, I've got, sometimes if I'm painting on small enough paper, I can keep that in there. I've got a variety of paintbrushes and pencils, you know, many of which were purchased at Sparrow Art Supply. Like this paintbrush, which is my current favorite paintbrush. I got at Sparrow last year. It's so good. I might need more. I don't need more paintbrushes, but also I do.
You can never have enough paintbrushes.
Never enough paintbrushes.
No, I agree.
And I have a lot of background in the hiking and backpacking world, so
brilliant.
This is a backpacking cup that I have repurposed to be my painting cup because it just, you know, squishes down flat.
So
it's very easy.
Yeah.
And then I also have just this tiny little palette.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I also
favorites too.
I love it. I bought it at Sparrow, and no, they're watercolors.
Oh, they are
yes,
watercolors.
This is all watercolor material.
Wow.
And the thing that I like about this is that it's got the little pans, and so I was able to put my own paint in the pans because often you'll buy, you know, a set like that, which is lovely, but you know, I like to be able to choose. I have favorite colors, and then I have colors that I kind of never use, and so this was great because I could pick my favorite.
Wow.
I don't know, 12 colors.
I have
if I'm doing
palette
math
envy
right.
there, actually.
I like
I
that.
want one of those. Good. I'll get Beth to order me one.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think they have even smaller ones. If,
They
if you
do.
like.
Yes, I have
Really?
one of those. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super tiny.
Yeah. But it's super light. It's flat. It just you can
Amazing.
stick it in your pocket. It's great.
Yeah.
And I think that's
like Mary
and
Poppins
eraser.
bag.
Always got to have an eraser with you. So that's pretty much it.
So you really don't need that much to even get started. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Another thing I want to ask you about is, so last year, and we're going to have it again this year, kind of leveled up, is this idea of a wet paint sale.
Yes.
So the wet paint sale, and we're calling it this year wet paint exhibit and sale, is where we, at our store, will feature works that have been created in the field during the festival weekend. And Kati, you brought back a few pieces last year that went home with people, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It becomes kind of a real memento from the weekend and from Middlebury. So yeah, Kati, can you talk a little bit about your experience being part of that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it was really fun to go out and paint, and of course there was no pressure on the results of the painting, but some of them turned out well, and I was like, oh, this is great. Hopefully somebody wants this. And it was so fun to like finish a painting and march on back to Sparrow and be like, Beth, look what I made, and be able to put it on the table and share it with people. And then I'd come back after the next painting and one would have sold, and that was just so exciting that someone else connected with the art that I had made. And it was also wonderful, to see all the other art that other people had made. I think there was some pieces by little kids that were there. There was other pieces by professional artists and amateur artists. And so it was fun to see the variety of things that people had made and that people wanted to take home with them. And I think that's a lovely thing that you do, Beth, to kind of make it so that it's sort of a circular, like you were saying, rising tide lifts all boats. So, people are buying things in your store, they're buying art from us. People that are participating maybe get to go home with a little bit of cash too. So that was also really cool. And then that's why I bought a paintbrush, because I sold a painting. So I was like, oh, well,
Money to spend. Yeah.
spend that right away on more art supplies. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, totally. I completely agree with you at that. Like, it's a chance for the other artists to come see what everyone else was working on. It's a chance for visitors to come see what the process was like. I went home with a few paintings last year, including one by a 7-year-old artist. Yeah, because it is a family-friendly event, so which was just really awesome. It was so cool to see these young artists coming in and asking their parents, "Can I be part of this?" And they would look at me, and then I'd be like, "Of course, why not?" So anyway, so I think I'm glad you're excited for that this year too. Yeah, it's great.
Are you making the wet paint sale longer this year? So you're using your gallery space to exhibit. That's very exciting.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh,
so
I'd like a little bit more info about that.
Oh yeah. So so last year it was so successful and created so much excitement for visitors and for artists alike, but it only lasted Saturday and Sunday. It went by so fast,
That's right.
and then things were gone, and it was the first year we were doing it, so it was hard to know that that's what was going to happen and that it would just go away so quickly. And we heard even people afterwards coming by the store being like, "Oh, are there any paintings left? Or do you have any pictures? I would love to see it. I was out of town that weekend." So we're actually going to keep that up for a couple weeks through 4th of July weekend. Which will be really
first
nice.
Friday.
Yes. First Friday plug in Middlebury. We do it every Friday, first Friday. So that'll be up for an extended time, which I think benefits everyone. It's so fun.
Absolutely.
It'll benefit the artists. It'll benefit people who, either saw a piece and wasn't quite sure that they wanted it and come back, or people that maybe were out of town that couldn't make it. So yeah.
So I've just had a thought, Beth. If you have photographs that you want to make some kind of collage to kind of show the other end of town, we could maybe have like an easel up in the town offices post-event to show people what it looked like. Because I think there's a lot of curiosity around it. And when I say the other end of town, it's the sort of business end of town where people are coming in to pay their taxes and their dog license and all of that sort of thing. But there is space to have some, so let's think about that, Beth, because post-event, I know you end up in the newspaper, and they did a lovely spread last year because it really is the most colourful, beautiful thing. But I think it could almost reach another audience again by having a little display of this is what it looks like. Yeah, I think people would really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Because the library doesn't quite have space at the minute, but the town offices would do. So we can help make that happen.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think that's a really wonderful idea. You know, we were talking earlier about, you know, even the concept of plein air painting. It sounds really foreign to a lot of people because the term it is foreign.
Yeah.
It's a French term. It comes from a French word, and I think it might, you know, sometimes people might not quite understand it at first. So to be able to show that after the fact, I think could be really nice.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's a great idea.
Good. We would love to have that happen.
Great.
Because we really hope, Beth. You know, we had the film festival started in Middlebury 12 years ago now. I think it's going to be the 12th this year. And it started very small and then has just grown and has become quite a thing over now, a 4 or 5 day event. But I really sense that the Sparrow Plein Air Festival has the same kind of legs and longevity and potential for growth. I joked with Beth and said maybe one day she'll be able to give up her day job and she just hosts the festival, and that's what she does.
I'd be mad about that.
Right?
Make it a monthly event or something?
Yeah. You see, we can dream into your dream, Beth.
Okay,
easily.
I love this. Yeah. Keep giving me ideas. Great. Wonderful. Well, just a quick question for each of you. What is the top thing you're looking forward to this year?
I know the weather is going to be spectacular that weekend. I just know it. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to taking a little time out to set some time aside. And I think there are cookies and ice cream.
There are cookies and ice cream
at the end of every afternoon,
yes.
or something like that. So yeah, being outside, painting and eating, you know, cookies and ice cream, and I don't think life gets much better. Yeah. So that's me.
I'm going to have to echo that. I mean, cookies and ice cream, I'm there. But yeah, I think similar to last year, I'm really excited to just have a whole weekend to just focus on making art. And this year I want to explore some of the places that I didn't get to last year. So maybe some of those more, you know, less loved corners of town. And I think I want to also push myself again and paint buildings and give that a try.
Okay, I have a recommendation for you for one of the sites.
Okay,
a
great.
new site this year is the Chateau on Middlebury College campus.
Beautiful.
So it's built in the French style. Like it looks like if you walk up to it, you're like, am I in Middlebury, Vermont? But you feel like you're in like the French countryside.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful building.
Yeah.
So that's one of our new sites this year. So maybe you should check that out.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, I am going to just plug a few of the logistical points here. So yeah, it's Sparrow Plein Air Festival. It's this June 12th through 14th. I was like, I'm making sure. 12th through 14th. The registrations for artists is open through June 1st. That's the cutoff. And then after that, you know, folks during the weekend, if you don't sign up, you're welcome to come and check out artists working. Really feel the energy of the event. But yeah, the main deadline is June 1st for the artists. And also like, I just hope people come downtown, you know. I really just hope people come to Middlebury, enjoy the artists working, and just enjoy our beautiful town and all it has to offer. I think it's going to be a really great weekend, and it's a really great way to start off the summer. I'm super excited.
So are we. Thanks so much for having us to talk about this.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. And again, thank you to Town Meeting VT for having us here today. So
perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.